it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're talking about the experience, and we're focusing in on the experience of being a quote-unquote supply, a quote-unquote target, a quote-unquote individual who, what it's like to be really in a relationship with a narcissistic personality disordered individual or a psychopathic individual. And even though, these are two very different sort of individuals, narcissistic or psychopathic, I'm really kind of focusing in on your experience of being a target, a supply, what it means to basically be the target or the focus of their narcissistic or psychopathic needs, which are very much different from your own needs as an individual. And it is the targeting, it is the creating a role for you as you relate to them that they basically condition you and program you to become. And I think that is what is really the seat of the disempowerment, is that you are programmed by an individual which does not have your best interests in mind. You are conditioned to react in a way that is in violation to your personal boundaries. When we talk about the gaslighting and the brainwashing and how exhausting it can be to constantly be a scapegoat, to constantly be criticized, to constantly live in reaction to this individual, to constantly live on their narcissistic or psychopathic terms, and it's not your terms, it's not your truth, it's not your identity. And really this becomes a feeling which in the beginning is the love bombing, which is a positive, which, you feel you kind of idolize this person, or, you hold them on a pedestal, or, because of their charm or because of their, strong ego or larger ego, you become basically attached to them because their ego is so charming that they basically overpower. And so you, unbeknownst to you in the beginning, you are lured in, you're attracted in, you're seduced in, or by virtue of how the relationship is, if it's your family, you're basically born into this relation dynamic or this energy, which is kind of engulfing or enmeshing or ensnaring to you. And so you have to, if you're living with this individual, it becomes almost like a Stockholm syndrome, where you then learn to identify with the abuser. And you basically, you basically just give into it, and you basically then begin to enjoy or get so used to the abuse. That abuse becomes a feeling, and that feeling over time becomes a pervasive mood, and then that becomes an identity, where you then identify with being the abused. You identify, and you have a victim consciousness. And furthermore, you tend to kind of, I don't want to say enjoy it, but get used to it, and then get used to satisfying them. And so you kind of flip it around and then get used to working for their approval, and you try to always feel like you are craving that and want that sense of belonging, but yet that belonging can never be fulfilled. You really don't, you feel a separateness, you feel like you really don't belong. And so this eventually with time, it becomes important to address, and that is what we want to address in this video. And it's really at that peak of awareness. So when you have then identified that this now is the cause of the effect that you are feeling in your life, so now you've become, a lot of your life has become positioned as reactive to this, and you're now realizing that, and you're realizing that this is no longer in your best interest. It's no longer who you really are. In fact, it's having a negative impact on your life. You don't necessarily relate to their values. Their values are not your own. Their values stifle you. Their values stunt you. It's not who you are. It's caused you to create this superficial shell, and you're like, this shell is not giving me life. This shell is not who I am. This is not the real me. And so really the work that we're doing here on the channel is really kind of dusting that off, breaking that free. For a lot of people, it's like, it's become like rock solid. It's become a very thick shell. So it is really the awareness first, and it's now coming back to the validation of who you are as an individual, and learning how to self-validate, how to validate yourself. So, if it was a parent, it's almost like reparenting yourself. If it was a spouse, it's like re-spousing yourself. If it's at a boss, it's like re-bossing yourself. You need to internalize that mechanism, which is self-validating, self-affirming. And if this does not feel comfortable, it's because it contradicts the struggle that you've been in your whole life. So if you have been used to your whole life basically living in reaction to this outer shell to this individual, and that's now created a struggle, it's now created an emotional poverty for you, it's created an emotional bankruptcy, it's created an emotional asphyxiation where you don't, feel happy, fulfilled, empowered, you feel less than, all those, deleterious negative effects that it's caused in your life. It's realizing that that was the cause, and you're basically unrooting that cause, and you're now learning the seat of empowerment and self-validation. And so you're removing that cause. It's no longer part of your life. Okay, I went through that. It's, understanding that, okay, this is what happened. This is within that individual, but yet I am owning, now my own perspective, and I'm now embracing and living my own values. So things that you might have valued, you have an open mind. You don't necessarily, need to be those individuals which they had created you to be. In other words, I'm not just a servant. I'm not just a servant to somebody's ego. I'm not just a servant in life. I'm not just a pawn in life. I am more than that. And I am, and I know this to be true. And this has always been part of my awareness, but I'm now giving air to it. I'm now giving strength to it. I'm now giving voice to it. I am now. I am now craving the knowledge. I now crave knowledge. I find that affirmation to be very empowering. I crave knowledge. Once you do that, it's the I crave knowledge, which is knowledge about life, knowledge about the self, knowledge about different subjects. And once you open that, it's like the whole floodgates open up. And this is all about you, but really your connection with life and where you really belong. Once you make your affirmations, you feel a sense of belongingness and connectedness, and no longer a separateness, no longer a negative invalidation, no longer a shame. And I crave knowledge. Can you then fill in that statement? I crave knowledge. I crave knowledge of food. I crave knowledge of art. I crave knowledge of other cultures. I crave knowledge of history. I crave knowledge of the future. I crave knowledge of technology. I crave knowledge of gardening. I crave knowledge of birds. I crave knowledge of golfing. I crave knowledge of soccer. Baseball, other things that you have been repressed, things that you were sensitive to. I crave knowledge of how to help, those who are abused. What is it that you crave? What is it that you have always been interested in? But that, because you were hitherto abused or you were put into this emotionally impoverished environment, you weren't allowed to have your emotional richness. You weren't able to have that emotional validation. You weren't allowed to be. Basically, so I'm giving you permission now. It's okay to be. Give yourself permission. I'm giving you permission to embrace your emotional richness. What do you crave? Where do you crave to go? Who do you crave to become? What do you crave to feel? What do you crave to express in your life? What do you crave to become? And how can you resensitize your senses to really act on those? So what do you crave to become? If you crave to become a scholar, can you get a book? Can you do some reading? Can you do some writing? If you crave to become more in tune with gardening or nature, what can you learn about the plant kingdom? What can you learn about the animal kingdom? What can you learn about different ecosystems? You've got access to so much of this now. Why can't you give yourself 15 minutes to learn about this and expand your awareness, expand yourself? And can you do this daily? Why can't you do it daily? Why aren't you giving yourself the opportunity? If you're not working in your journal, is your pen not working? Do you not have a good pen? I mean, what kind of excuses are you making for yourself? Get a good pen. Get a pen that you love that can write well. If, my pen doesn't work. I've heard all sorts of excuses. My pen doesn't write very well. Then get a good pen. Get a pen that you love. This pen that I have right here, this writes for me beautifully. I mean, I love the way that it feels. So I've got other pens. I like the way that that pen feels. Go out and go pen shopping. Go notebook shopping. Get a blank notebook. Get one with a fancy cover. Get one with a plain cover. Get a pencil. Get watercolor pencils. Get colored pencils. Why have you been stopping yourself? Why have you been blocking yourself? Why have you been limiting yourself? Is it the negative validation from a narcissist or psychopathic individual, which is keeping you stifled, keeping you unhappy, keeping your emotions in just a very limited range? What other emotion can you have? Can you have the emotion of love? I mean, can you go to a puppy shelter and see the hurt puppies, and can you talk to the people there who take care of them? Can you go and visit a hospital, or can you visit an orphanage and just see the babies that have been abandoned? Can you, where can you go in life and really help open your eyes to what's going on, and will give you gratitude for yourself and for life? Can you go through a walk through, a local seashore, and can you just look at the birds? Can you look at the shells? Can you look at the texture of the sand? Can you ponder about the universe? Can you ponder about the water? Can you ponder about the clouds? Can you learn about nature? Can you study the plant kingdom? There are so many things that you can do. Can you learn about different painters in history that have always fascinated you, but you never give yourself a chance to explore? Do you love Monet? Do you love Picasso? Do you love Kandinsky? Do you love a certain style of music? Were you always interested in classical music, jazz, fusion, or something more punk, more techno pop? Do you like something more acoustic? Get to know yourself a little bit more, and give yourself a chance to pursue those interests rather than stifling them and saying, I can't. Learn to replace that with I can and I am. Apply it. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share. Please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussions, and support.